Hello, friends. I want to give a quick update on the event coming up from our past guest, Josh Radcliffe and No Roots Media. They are going to be debuting their Friday the 13th film on July 8th. If you go to their page, No Road Media, on Facebook, you can check out when and where. So go ahead and do that. I will be there. So yeah. Also, don't be afraid to show our last guest some love. Tyler, the Twitch streamer. His YouTube channel and Twitch stream is the Keyblade Master 326. Check him out. He's doing some cool stuff with Minecraft, and it looks like he was also doing Spider-Man. Now, in this episode, we have Greg Dragon, guitarist from First Fracture. He stopped by and we talked about his life that brought him to the band and to music. It's really interesting. Also, this is my first solo podcast without my co-host Lance. He was MIA for this one. He has some stuff to deal with, so let me know how I did. Nevertheless, I hope you enjoy the show and give us a like on Facebook, YouTube, and any podcast format. Enjoy the show.
All right. And we are live. We are the Divided People. I'm your host, Marky Mark. Today, Lance is currently MIA. We'll see if we hear from him today or not. With me, I have Greg Dragon. Cool last name. Greg, tell them what you do and where you're from and stuff.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for that last name. The name drop, by the way.
I love that.
Something that
Dude,
it was given. I wasn't born with it.
Dude, when I tell people that, like when they ask, "Oh, who you having on next?" I'm like, "Oh, Greg Dragon." They go,
Yeah.
"That's his last name." I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Dude, that's awesome." I'm like,
Yeah. No. It's not uncommon with musicians to have nicknames or stage names or anything like that. It's not like say Slash if he gets pulled over. It's like I see your ID, it just says Slash on it.
Right.
It's like McLovin from Superbad or something, or just says McLovin.
Get a fake ID real quick, just so you can do it.
So name rightfully given to me. But by the way, I play in First Fracture. I've been playing music since I was 15 is when I got into it. When I actually, held an instrument to my hands. I've always had a passion for music, in my younger years. But 15 is when I really got into playing, putting that instrument in my hand, actually exploring it, and figuring it out. Because it all kind of happened. It all kind of happened at its own pace. I didn't really go out looking for it in a way. Especially rock music. I wasn't born into a family that listened to rock music.
Really?
Yeah.
What they listen to?
As crazy as this may sound, my father, he listened to more like rap music, like OG rap too. Like OG stuff,
Okay.
He had a sound system in his truck and whatnot, and he would bump it. I'd be like, "Ow, Dad, that hurts my ears. It's loud."
Suck it up, son.
And my mom, she was the opposite. She listened to more like pop, more of that mainstream kind of, Rascal Flatts, Gwen Stefani, more like just that pop kind of music. And I knew that rock was there, my grandfather, who's actually, he visited last month, him and my mom all from my mom's side, and they're both wonderful people. He's the traditional rock and roll, guy, like AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, and all that. But like listening to those things just through passing, even that didn't really catch my attention in a way. I didn't really, it didn't spark, my love for music at that point in time. I was about maybe 12 or 13 as, my parents, they got divorced. And my mom, we all moved up there to Michigan. That's where my mom's side of the family is at. And, my dad, he stayed out here. We couldn't stay with my dad because he worked a lot. Even to this day, the guy works. That's all he does.
Yeah, some people, that's all they want to do sometimes.
Yeah. So, but we couldn't stay with Dad, so we had to move up there, with my mom. And, I remember just flipping through the channels and I stumbled across MTV's Headbangers Ball. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I stumbled across it like a little kid, just flipping through the channels, and I come across, I didn't even know what it was. Like, it took me a second to realize what was happening. I just seen these, individuals, long black hair, black fingernails, playing a guitar, and I was just like, that is it. I don't know what it is, but it sounds cool.
So what, age like 7?
No, it was more like 12 or 13.
12
yeah.
was just like, oh, that's my life right
Yeah,
there.
it just sparked, man. I remember the song too. It was by Bullet for My Valentine. You know,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
I actually seen them live, like this year,
Really?
with the Vince Sevenfold. Yeah, and it was.
And that was in was that Lafayette? No, Lafayette was something else.
We recently seen them at Biloxi Coast Coliseum, the Coast Coliseum.
I saw Breaking Benjamin.
Yeah, they also performed as well.
Yeah.
Breaking
They
Benjamin
were there too?
was there. It was Breaking Benjamin. I think it was Bullet for My Valentine and Vince Sevenfold. I've seen so many bands. Man, they all get mixed up.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I've seen a few too. But Mississippi Coliseum, we saw Silver Snakes, Motionless in White, Breaking Benjamin, and Korn.
Awesome
It
lineup.
was like their rock stations festival or something.
Yeah, okay.
And so one year, I saw I love Breaking Benjamin.
Dude, they are phenomenal.
Breaking Benjamin was like one of my all times.
They sound incredible, man.
Well, even to this day, even their new stuff, I'm still like, I
know.
Because like you know how old music, you're like, I like Linkin Park. I like their old stuff.
Yeah, their new stuff, it changes throughout.
Yeah, except like Linkin Park, Westchester, but I mean,
definitely.
It changed, like, and he did too for whatever reason, but they changed more to what he was feeling at the time.
Yeah,
and I feel like I don't want to say this out of character, but I feel like Queen kind of opened up that door for a lot of people to decide what they want to do, because Linkin Park came out heavy.
They did,
and then it's just like hop at the end, hip hop at the end.
Yeah,
it definitely was that at the end.
They really did go more like electronics, like you say, like the more of the hip hop style.
And it was funny because
they've always had the hip hop like kind of
that's
feel
what I was about
to
to
it.
say.
Back then it was more like guitar. I think it was more maybe acoustic, if you will, like just more guitar, more drum. But now
that's what everyone loved though at the beginning.
Yeah,
it was
like,
more like numb with that the whole
time.
It's like, oh, what is this? And everyone loved it in the end too, and then Paper Cut and all that. And then it just got away from the. It felt like the rock
got very
just
processed. They got very processed at the end, which still, was good music. But I would be the one to admit that I do like older Linkin Park than newer Linkin Park.
I did too. And then after he passed, it's weird. I don't want to be one of those people like, I'll listen to it all the time. But like hearing his new stuff now that he passed, it's kind of like listening to the lyrics. You're just like,
there's a deeper understanding.
Deeper, it was like he was definitely crying for help.
Yeah.
Like that's sad, but like that's why I do like listening to it, because it's one of those things like helps you understand a little bit more. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. You can just have that understanding about somebody when it comes to that unfortunate
part.
Because
like you can't say, oh, it came out of nowhere, because really all of his every song, almost not every song, but a lot of, at least in every album.
That emotion
was definitely that one that
was there in his lyrics every time he put that pen to the paper. Yeah. That was his way of getting it out. And some musicians, they can cope with that, and that's how they cope with it is to get it on paper and to get it out there. But depression in the music industry is no secret at all. And unfortunately, it gets the best of the best people.
That's the sad thing. Like if you didn't have that, the music wouldn't be as
the emotion. Yeah, exactly.
Which is something sad to say, but it's true. If the depression, if all the pain, the suffering wasn't there, we wouldn't have such great music that we do now.
That's definitely true. Definitely true. So, when it came to seeing Bullet for My Valentine, Hand of Blood, the Poison album, I know all about it nowadays, but when I seen it on TV, I knew that I liked it. I didn't know why I liked it. Well, maybe because it was like so rebellious. Maybe it was because it was different. It was more, it wasn't what I was used to,
I think that was a good band to fall fine to at first, because it wasn't something he still sang and didn't scream all the time. Yeah. And so one of the things that when I first listened to rock, besides when my dad played Queen, because my dad was a huge Queen fan, but when I listened to other genres, I think it was Lamb of God that I first heard, and it was just one of their hardcore songs. I'm just like, oh yeah, whoa, I can't understand any of this. And then Linkin Park early album came when their Metro or something like that, whatever album Numb was on with In the End and stuff like that. When I heard that, and then 3 Days Grace, I Hate Everything About You, I'm like, oh, this is rock. Oh, this is what it actually is too. I'm like, oh, I love this. I love this. I can understand this.
Definitely, man. Well, just doing that research after hearing that song, that's when I just started doing more research. We didn't have cell phones back then.
Right.
We didn't have. It wasn't as easy as it is now. We did have a desktop computer.
Was MySpace around?
If it was, I didn't have one,
Not
so
yet.
I don't know. I was really late. To just talk about that, I jumped in on MySpace at like the very end. Yeah. I was really late on the train, dude. And everyone switched over to Facebook. I was like, I just got the hang of this one.
Damn it.
But I don't think so. But then I was like in middle school and
Right.
whatnot, so we wouldn't have had all that stuff. But I started doing, just research, finding, like Green Day, like another staple band, like big in the punk rock, influence. And just so many bands, just listening to music. I remember asking my grandfather too, and he would agree with me right now if he was here, or he would remember this conversation. But I remember talking to him. I was in my room. I was like, Papa, I want to learn how to play the guitar, and my Papa, he's such a nice guy with the way he talks. He may come off as like a hard ass, if you will. He'd be like, you can't fucking play the guitar. He's like, your fingers are gonna hurt. You can't fucking do that. It's like, okay, Papa. And I kind of took that as it was. I didn't pursue it anymore. I didn't I was like, maybe he's right. Maybe it is too hard. I don't know anything about it. But what I did know is I liked music, so I just kept listening to music, and eventually, I moved down back here to Louisiana. Maybe just a couple years, listening to music and whatnot, the music that I like. And, it was actually my brother. He went out with my dad. They went out to town. He came back with a bass guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is kind of how it all really started. So I knew I had the love for music. But now, my brother came back and he had this bass guitar, and anyone who knows what a bass guitar is, it's a bigger instrument compared to electric guitar.
Right.
Bigger strings, and it's a low frequency kind of instrument. You don't play all the strings at the same time. And in some cases you can, but I mean, if you were to hit all the strings, it's a big muddled.
Yeah.
It don't sound good. And he had that for a while, and I respected that, that he had that instrument. I didn't, because when you have brothers and sisters, what's yours is yours, like nowadays kids fight about, Mom, he's got my iPad, it's like,
well, yeah, what's yours is yours, and what's well, no, what's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine too. Yeah. Kind of like when it's like a married couple, and you just didn't realize it yet.
Exactly. I just let him, that was his, I messed with it, and I was like, man, this is cool, but here you go, this is yours. Yeah. And I just left it at that. But he didn't pick it up. Just one day he just set it down, and that's where it stayed for a good while. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and pick this thing up, And I really picked it up. I was exploring it, just making all the sounds, and just getting familiar with it.
You get jealous, huh?
No, you didn't get jealess. Didn't get jealous at all.
That's sometimes how it is.
He really
too.
could have, but I think even he knew that, he put it down, and there it was, and it was not being played.
Right, collecting dust. Yeah.
I picked it up, knocked the dust off. It most likely was not in any kind of tuning.
Right.
Just there it was, and I just had that passion for it. And I really didn't know what I was doing other than just getting familiar with it, and just having the love for music. And then it wasn't until I met somebody. Of course, once you do something, or if it's a hobby, you meet other people that has that same similarity, that connection. You don't even have to go out and look for them.
Right.
They come across your path.
Whose story is that? Isn't that Slipknot's story?
Is it? I'm a big Slipknot fan.
Yeah. Then they all they were all part of different bands at one point.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, "Oh, you need to meet them," and they're like, "Yeah, well, I'm with." They're kind of we'll meet when it's time's right. And at one time,
Slipknot. Like I said, I'm a fan about them. I'm a fan.
I am too.
So they did start, and Corey Taylor, the singer, today, he was not in the band.
Right.
Slipknot was formed. Yeah. And he, and now, yeah, here he is. He's the lead singer, frontman of that band and Stone Sour. If I'm not mistaken, I think Stone Sour was first. If I'm not mistaken, I don't
know.
I don't know Corey Taylor's background, but yeah, that is a true fact that he wasn't an original founding member. He joined later on. But yeah, that's how those connections work.
And then even now they do, because when they came to New Orleans, they had 2 new guys with them or something similar to that, either 1 or 2, and that they were playing with them, but they weren't yet part of the band because of all the trials they have to go through. I'm like, dang, I didn't realize it was that difficult to get on with them.
Are you referring to the bass player and the drummer?
I think so.
That's the newest members. Paul Gray was the bass player. He passed away.
Right.
And then something happened. Something horrible happened to Joey Jordison, where he didn't get kicked out, but he had some medical.
And I'm not sure if this is true, but I heard that like right before that concert, he was stabbed or something in the stomach.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
I wasn't sure. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but I do remember hearing like Joe was just in the hospital. And I'm like.
Yeah.
Huh?
I know that we are like going to be riding on the edge of the truth here.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Well, it's hard.
But something medically happened to him. He wasn't kicked out like something like that.
Yeah.
He had to leave because of a certain reason.
Because they're like family. It's hard for them to.
Yeah, but that is right. They don't just get members and say, "Hey, you're an awesome drummer and you're an awesome bass player. Now you're a member of Slipknot."
No, they put you through.
They put you through. Yeah, they have numbers.
Yeah, and they're like, they go at the end. They're like, "Hey, it's no hard feelings." And it's like it's been 2 years. I know, but it's just.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang.
And that's why they mask. That's why they wear masks.
Yeah, so they can't tell.
Exactly, and they don't want the public to be so focused on new members. They want them to stay focused on the music,
I think Corey's
which is a
one
good technique.
That it would be hard to really get rid of and be like, okay.
His vocals. Yeah.
He's definitely a front man. Like he's
melodies.
When he's doing interviews too, it's just.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell. I am too. I listen to.
He's awesome.
YouTube all the time with him, like live stuff. Because when he does all the acoustic versions of certain songs, I'm just like, damn. You forget that he's like actually playing Slipknot, Duality, Wait and Bleed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you listen to Through Glass by Stone Sour, and
even Stone Sour, like I always thought that was like amazing, just to be able to write for 2 different bands and be like, okay. Well, this is heavy, but this is definitely more of a Stone Sour.
Yeah.
Versus, okay, well, anything screaming goes to Slipknot.
Yeah. To have that control, and that's a big thing, I think, in music and rock music and whatnot is, the bands do that all the time. They form like what they call super groups, if you will. Like they take other members from other bands and they just kind of, you don't have to be so. You don't have to be in one band. If you have the time, you can be in multiple projects.
Yeah, exactly. Travis Barker's big on that.
Yeah. Travis Barker is big on that. It's like maybe think of it like an artist. Like how.
Music's different. I think it's like rappers can't really do that as much because rappers is more of. It's lyrics. Like y'all both have lyrics. You can, but you can't. If that makes sense. Okay. I feel personally like
I don't know much about rap music.
I
do know that's big on lyrics.
So if you're a producer,
content, like the way that the music is made, I really don't know how. And I think that's different
because you can legit sit. You can grab someone like, oh, you play bass, I play guitar. Oh, you play drums. You want to just jam out first?
Yeah, exactly. And jam out, and there you go. You got. You could come up with a name, and there you go. You got a band,
Most of the time, it's just jamming out versus, like, rapping. Like, you can freestyle back and forth, but doing a project, you have to make sure y'all are very much connected. Versus rock, you can kind of just be like, okay, I'm with them, but I'm also can feel what they're playing and not step on their toes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're not outperforming, I guess you could say. Like, rappers, it's one skill. They're both speaking, rapping at the same time. While you're playing guitar, your drummer's playing the drums, someone's playing the bass.
Yeah.
And even when you have a different guitars, when y'all play together, it more merges and feels like
it does.
A complete thing
it's
versus
styles
trying to
of playing.
And you're not trying to outdo it.
The rhythm guitarist will be like, let's just jam in C major.
Right.
And you play, everything in C, and you just come up with the dance beat, and then there you go. You got somewhat of a song.
C major was the death of me for my guitar.
Oh, was it?
Oh man, when I was first starting playing, I used to do tabs on like guitartabs.com
that's so
or
easy
something.
to learn stuff nowadays with
And
tablature.
then I was trying to learn all these things I hate about you by Bolo from my Valentine.
Oh, wow.
And then I could not get that tune down. Like that
Oh,
C
my
major, it
God.
was killing me. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop. I spent 3 hours trying to get it right. I knew how to play it,
Yeah.
but I was just like, I'm not getting that tune.
Yeah. And what a great example for me to say C major is how difficult it is, to play some of those chords and some of those scales.
Oh, dude,
I was just throwing that out there.
I have so much respect for guitar players. Like, y'all do stuff that I can play basic, okay? I can't do anything extravagant.
Yeah.
But like then I see people play. I'm just listening. I'm just like thinking. I can't imagine their fingers placed, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm feeling my hands bleed almost while I'm listening to it. So I give out so much respect. Same thing with drummers too, though, because drummers, like everyone's like, oh,
respect for drummers.
it's easy. I'm like,
no,
that tempo, the beat. I'm like, that's something I can do.
Our drummer that we have in our band, Skip Brown. I'm gonna name drop him right now. So what's up, Skip? If you're listening to this, he's phenomenal, dude. He is just awesome. When you listen to our music, I think when it comes to studio stuff, like he really does have I think he just tones it down a little bit. Because when you're in the studio, you're trying to track drums, and you're trying to track instruments. Like you do have to be. You can't be like how you would be on stage.
Yeah,
or
you
like
can't
live.
be overwhelming because
you can't be
the
studio stuff, and it's just like it makes editing difficult, and it's just it's just
you don't want to bleed through
it's a nightmare, But live though, like this guy can play drums, and I have mad respect for drummers, and they have a lot more stuff to carry too.
Yeah. We all carry our own shit. So
Yeah, mad respect for drummers. But yeah. So yeah, I picked up the bass and I started playing. I met somebody in school, and I met him, and we started jamming together, just little kid, jamming stuff, nothing major, nothing serious. But his mom and dad were cool enough for me to come over and actually sit in on lessons. They paid lessons for their kid, yeah, and they were cool enough to let me.
That guy didn't make them pay extra?
No, dude. I mean, maybe they did. I don't know. But they didn't have. They didn't tell me nothing. They were, and even no one said anything. I sat in. So when, like I said, I picked it up. I got familiar with it. I was just messing around, really, just exploring it, and then to actually sit down, and actually take lessons. That really did kind of pave the road in a way, showing me like I had some bad habits that I was forming, and he criticized me on that, and just taught me like some real basic scale runs on the bass guitar and like just simple notes and things like that, and really just paved the way. And it kind of just made sense a little bit more on the fretboard, So whenever jammed with him for a little bit, but eventually things come to an end, because when you're at that age, in high school and whatnot, you kind of really don't know what you're going to be doing.
Right.
I think it's tough for somebody to really know what they want to do.
I also think it's because
for most kids,
Yeah, it's not just that though, because a lot of kids want to be rock stars. Like obviously.
Yeah.
Like I remember I wanted to be one.
Yeah,
I heard myself sing one day, and I was like, no.
I had friends, we all played music, but everyone kind of took their own paths, But I remember, I wanted to play music, and I wanted to do it seriously. And I went on the internet, and there was this page called bandmix.com. I don't even know if it's still there. Like, it might be. I don't know. But it was like this local, like, rock or music site. Artists looking for members, or and I saw this one page. It was a band called Poltern Kinder.
Wait, say that again?
Poltern Kinder. Yeah. Yeah, crazy, right? Poltern Kinder. Yeah, so I saw that and I was like, man, and they actually had like a demo too, and it was so different compared to the punk rock and the metal that I was used to. It was kind of like this, like post-grunge, if you will. Like very riff-driven and heavy melodic vocals and stuff like that. It was just very different from what I was used to.
So you said bandmix?
Bandmix.com.
It's still up.
It's still up. Cool, yeah. Any artist looking, to join a band, check out
Bandmix.
Bandmix.
Canada. I never even knew about this.
Dude,
That's cool.
I looked it up. I think I just typed in Google, like, bass player looking for band or something.
And then bring you to Craigslist. I'm very surprised they didn't bring you to Craigslist.
Yeah.
This would be a different story right now.
Take a sip of my Monster.
Go ahead.
But, yeah, I called him. I was like, hey, there's a phone number. Hey, man, I heard y'all looking for a bass player. And the guy was like, no. It was like, and I was like, yeah, there's a post on the internet. And he was like, man, look at the date on that thing. That thing is old. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I was going to take that as it was and say, okay, thanks. But he was like, well, wait. We got this other project. I don't know if you're going to like it. Some older cats. I was like 18 at the time. These guys were like 30 and 31, like 12, 13 years older than me. And it was like, it's blues. I don't know if you're going to like it. But, we practice on Thursdays, and you're welcome to stop by. And I was like, okay, I'll be there. So I showed up, and I really didn't have a problem with him saying that it was blues, because I did play in jazz band. I played bass guitar in jazz band in high school.
What high school you went to?
Albany High.
Okay.
Albany High School, yeah.
You had a jazz band?
We had jazz band, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Albany?
Yeah. I took it at the end of my junior year and, like, in my senior year,
Okay. I didn't think...
Yeah, because even like whenever I was, I started playing, I started thumping around on bass. I didn't take it in freshman and sophomore because I was like, oh, jazz band, that's lame. Doing that. But the music teacher like found out I played it, and she was like, you need to come join and play my jazz band. And I was like, okay, I'll do it.
Damn, like I called.
Yeah. Trying to hide that talent. No.
But that attention,
but it was cool though. I'm glad that I did that because it kind of, it just helped me out, of course, jamming with other people, especially that style of music. So I didn't have a problem to go play for this blues band that this guy talked about, or that he mentioned. And convenient enough, where they practiced at was in Albany. So it was like, dude, it was perfect. And it was like, it's crazy how all this stuff is lining up. So I went out there, brought my bass rig, got my bass guitar, meeting these guys, and they're a lot older than me, I'm still in high school. They're well out of high school, kids, houses and whatnot, jobs. And, they like, all right, let's just start playing, and he started playing like this blues riff, and, he was like, okay, so what can you come up with that? I was just like, all right, I'm just,
try.
Don't, just something real simple. But they were like, man, that sounds cool. And we actually jammed for like maybe 2 or 3 hours. It didn't take long. They were like, okay, that was a good session. And he was like, do you think that you want to be in this band? And I was like, well, yeah, can I just leave my stuff here? And looking back on it, the way that he asked me that, I think I kind of took that question just too direct. I think that maybe they thought that I was like young and like come to join this blues band. I think they were like, do you like this kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, can I leave my stuff here?
I can live here if you need me to. Anytime.
Yeah, exactly. And we actually ended up writing like 9 or 10 songs. Actually recorded these songs. And unfortunately, like these songs, like you can't. They might be difficult to find. You can attempt to look up the band name. Brackish Blue is the name of the band. It's kind of like a lost treasure because it was like some really cool blues music.
Did it make it on YouTube?
No, we didn't get that far. Because playing with that band, we jammed for like maybe 8 months to a year, maybe. That was some time ago. But like I said, we recorded a whole album worth of music, and we only played like maybe 3 or 4 like live shows, so we didn't really play too much. But the singer, Poltron Kinder, the page that I wanted to join for, bass position opened up. So joining Brackish Blue, his side project, bass position, he's like, hey, you want to come join Poltron Kinder now? And I was like, well, yeah, let's go. Because that music was like very different, like very cool. Like, yeah, I want to be a part of that. And I played with those guys for like 2 years, very successful in the local rock scene. Back in maybe that was like 2008, 9, 2010, sometime in that point in time, and we were very successful. And we played like every weekend, like it was insane. Like we grinded, You know, every weekend, play. And eventually, you know, things came to an end. And you know, Brackish Blue, it just kind of, I don't know if faded away is a good word, you know.
Just one day kind of slowed down to a halt.
Yeah, because it was the singer and the drummer in Poltron Kinder that was actually in Brackish Blue, and it was a 4-piece band. So when I joined, it was like the 3 members in Poltron Kinder, and there was only one
that wasn't a
founding member that wasn't a part of it in Brackish Blue, and that just kind of I guess faded away. You know, we just didn't show it the attention anymore, and then, you know, things just kind of came to an end. When Poltron Kinder came to an end, that was it. You know, both of those flames, you know, they burnt out. And I was, you know, without music. I still played, you know, bass guitar for a while there, you know, for like a year or two. And then out of nowhere, I get a message from the singer, First Fracture. You know, he messages me, and he's like, "Hey, you want to come join my band? You know, you still playing music?" I'm like, "No, I'm not playing music." But yeah, I want to play music. Yeah, I want to join your band. And he was like, "Okay." He was like, "You know, we got a lead guitar position that's open." And I was like, "Well, hang on. You know, I play bass guitar. I don't play lead guitar." And he was like, "Yeah, don't worry about it." He's like, "You know, I see your passion and your devotion to music, and I want you in this band." And I was like, "Well, I don't have guitars. I don't have amps. I have a bass." And it was like, "Don't worry about it. I got it. I have that stuff. You come jam on my equipment." And I was like, "Okay." So I went over and jammed, because at the time, First Fracture was a 4-piece band. You know, they had bass, drums, guitar, and the singer also played guitar. So he wanted to put the guitar down and get both his hands on the microphone, you know. So I went over there, and I had the understanding of bass guitar. So it's somewhat, you can kind of go with the electric guitar, like some of the notes are the same, you know, like, well, most of the notes are the same, but, you know, there's some differences, of course. But I had that basic understanding. And that first practice, you know, because just playing bass guitar, you're so, like, in the pocket. You're kind of like the backbone of the music. Yeah. You're kind of like just standing back there, just holding it down. But when you have a loud, electric, distorted guitar, you kind of shine. You kind of come through, you know.
You kind of got to.
Exactly.
You can't be in the back anymore.
There were, like, a lot of bad notes there that first jam session. And I think we jammed for like maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and then it was like the drummer or somebody was like, "You know, I gotta go do something, you know, we gotta call it a quits here for today." I think it was because I was like, "It's so bad," you know.
It was like, yeah, we're gonna stop.
Yeah. And you know, the singer Evan Wilkinson, he said, "Here, dude, just take my stuff home with you, you know.
And practice.
Here's my guitars. Here's everything you need." You know, and it was a lot. You know, when you got a bass guitar, you have a bass, you have an amp. That's pretty much it. When you have an electric guitar, you have your guitar. You may have pedal boards, and you might have your amp, like all this different stuff. So it was a lot of equipment, and I brought it home so excited, and just jammed and jammed and jammed. And now here we are today, man. You know, 7 years later, you know, 3 albums, you know, the 3rd album in the works. We have multiple music videos. They'll all be found on YouTube. And, you know, you can look up our page, First Fracture. We've played with plenty of signed acts. You know, we're playing with Powerman 5000 coming up. And for those who don't know who Powerman 5000 is, you know, everybody knows who Rob Zombie is. Rob Zombie's little brother, you know.
Okay.
He's not Rob Zombie, but, you know, he's in the family.
He knows him.
It's still cool, you know. But, yeah, and that's pretty much how it, you know, where I am today. It wasn't, you know, my love for music, my passion for music, my musical capabilities when it comes to instruments. It all really wasn't, I really wasn't looking for it. As, you know,
It kind of found you.
It just kind of, once I found it, once it found me, I discovered that style of music with the metal and the punk rock. It just ignited a spark, and it's still burning to this day, you know, and it's still going to burn. So let's see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you do some of the writing for the albums, or are you just?
Yeah, I am. That's a good question. When I first joined First Fracture, they already had album in the works, and I actually joined in like on the tail end of that studio time, and I actually got to write or be a co-writer of the 2 of the songs that are on that first album, and but the second album, Invictus, you know, I'm a big part of that album, of course. But still, like, I was still, like, you know, at that time, still, like, I wasn't where I am today. So now we have the third album where it's, like, just very riff-driven, very cool.
Okay.
Because, like, nowadays I have a very, you know, deep understanding of, like, what I like, what techniques I like, and, you know, the artists that I like to follow and learn techniques from them. So you can definitely hear just the evolvement and maturity of the music that's being written now. And, you know, I've even transposed some of that more difficult playing style into the live set. So, like, when you see us live, you know, I'm a firm believer of our band being, like, a great live band. Like, when you listen to our you know, our music, it does sound good, but it's studio stuff,
I think
you know?
it's funny because I think a lot of rock music, and there's a few bands that you can't say it about. I'm not going to say all bands, but a lot of bands for rock, when you hear them live, it seems like a completely different show. Like, it's completely different from what you...
Yeah.
I remember, like, I used to like Papa... I like Papa Roach.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to say I used to like Papa Roach. I like Papa Roach. And then... But when I listened to it before I saw them live, it was just kind of like... It wasn't like, I want to listen to them. When they played, I'm like, oh, cool, Papa Roach. And I listened to it. And then I saw them live.
Yeah.
And then it's like... Now it's like, I want to listen to them.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I didn't like them before, but just hearing them live, it's different. It's right there in your face.
Yeah.
You can hear it. You almost can feel the sweat coming off of it.
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like the emotion is there.
Yeah.
Versus just in the studio.
Exactly, yeah.
And so that's why I do understand that. A lot of bands are better live.
Yeah.
I feel like having them on your phone, it's really good, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I don't feel like you're getting the full experience. It's kind of like you're getting a part of it, and it's really like you need to see them live. And that's why I tell my wife all the time, like, I want to go see rock bands live.
Yeah.
Bands, artists that I really love, I want to see live. Because
yeah.
I don't want to miss that opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially when Chester passed in Linkin Park, I was like, damn, cause that's when I really started listening to rock music. Linkin Park, like I said, that was one of the bands. You can ask my buddy Charles. My little MP3, that's all I had. I had nothing but albums of Linkin Park on my thing.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, like I used to play it over and over again, and so not being able to see them live hurts. Like, you know,
I know,
when
yeah.
I found, like, damn, like, and
I
so
know.
looking back on that, I told my wife, I was like, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's just something that is gone. Like, I can't experience that anymore.
Yeah, yeah. People need to, you know, go out and see bands more. Just go out and see music more. You know, they need to get out and be a part of it.
And I have a few friends kind of like that too, who, like, I have a buddy who, he likes to stay home a lot. And that's not a problem, but I also said, like, he's like, I don't have friends. I'm like, yeah, because you're trying to make friends with people you don't click with. I'm like, because he listens to rock heavily too. I'm like, like, you really need to go to a rock concert. You need to go, like, local band. It don't matter, because you're going to find people you like there. Yeah. Because they have more that you can connect with. I'm like, and that's why I also, like, when you go out there, like, when we went to go see Slipknot in concert, skipped school for that one.
Yeah, of course, had to, man.
Yeah, so we went there, and it's just like, that was my first heavy metal concert, and I was kind of nervous, because I was like, I've never been to one. I know about the mosh pits, and I'm like, and we were up there in front.
Okay.
We made it to the front.
Near the rail.
Yeah. Like, we were like maybe 2 people back from the rails.
Yeah.
And just being there was like, I'm like, okay, I'm like looking around, I'm like, okay, a lot of bikers, you know, like just all different kinds of people. I'm just like, okay,
tattoos.
Yeah, and then it's like you're not you're nervous. It's not like you're like you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
These aren't like regular people you see every day.
Yeah.
And then the music started. And then, like, you know, I'm waiting for the mosh pit, and the mosh pit's finally formed, but it's funny because someone got sucked into the mosh pit, and they literally grabbed him and pulled him out. And they're like, because they could tell he didn't want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So they grabbed him out, and he's like, you okay? I'm just like, oh, so it's like this. Okay.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
And I'm like, and then more, and you're looking around, people just enjoying themselves, and it was like, it was clicking without even talking to him. And I was just like, oh, so this is what it actually is.
It is, yeah.
And it makes me mad because I went to a Fall Out Boy concert. I don't know how you feel about that.
Slipknot, Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, it was a different experience because you had to sit down in chairs. And
okay.
I'm like, I don't like that.
Yeah, that's a little
like
different.
the general standing because I've been to a couple concerts general standing. I've been to Fall Out Boy was the only one I actually had to sit down for or had a chair for.
Yeah.
And I was like, at first I'm like, oh, this is nice, but then like when the concert's going on, I'm like,
you kind of secluded your
yeah,
one little spot.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm looking there for a second, and I am enjoying myself, but at the same time, I'm like, now I was having a lot more fun over at Breaking Benjamin and Slipknot. This is, and pop, like, I'm like, this is a lot more just to yourself.
Yeah, it is.
I do like going to see live a lot better.
Yeah, and that's a big misconception. I like how you brought up like the whole mosh pit thing and being around all those people that you don't really know. They may come off as intimidating, you know. But everybody's there for the same reason.
Exactly.
You know, everybody's there for
but
the
on the flip
exact
side,
same
I've been
reason.
to rap concerts, and like at first I thought that was gonna be more chill. I mean, you know, you get this collusion, rap, weed, and all that, but it's a lot more dangerous there. Like, people really there like trying to pull stuff out on each other over like little stuff. I'm like,
oh man,
damn, like, okay, like,
yeah,
I'm just here for the music, man.
Yeah.
And so like comparing it, I'm like, dang, like, cause Rock gets that look. Rock gets those hits sometimes, like, you know, you're dressed black, and it's like, oh, you don't want to be around them. They're really suicidal, and then, like,
I think it's because it's so maybe like subversive is a good word, you know. It's more rebellious. It may come off as destructive with the style of the music, of the heaviness and whatnot.
And it's funny because my son, I've been thinking about that with him. I'm like, I would take him to a rock concert any day, even now. But for rap, I'm like, he has to wait till he's 18. I'm like
yeah. Well, I mean, you know, they're so like Breaking Benjamin. Like when we saw them, they actually pulled up like maybe 10 or 15 little kids.
Yeah, oh, really?
You know, yeah, and that was like so cool. You know, the singer like pulled them up and like he picked up the guitar and was like jamming around. Like all these little kids were around him. You know, I'm just like, that is awesome. Yeah. Like that is what it's about.
Well, it's cool because a lot of them are just geeks like me. Like that's what I like.
Yeah,
like,
Breaking
Benjamin,
you know.
Their guitarist, they strapped the laser on his guitar, and he started playing Star Wars like little
I was just like,
oh
cool,
yeah,
that is so cool.
And then Korn came out, like, that's another thing. They like each other a lot. It's not like they're trying to compete with each other, because like Korn, a few people came out from Korn and started playing with them just randomly. And even the singer was like, no, I didn't expect that.
But it was welcome though, because it is like a big family. And,
no, exactly.
And in today's music industry, like that's how you have to be. I think you have to be a family. I think you have to work with one another, like in a sense, you know, like join each other on stage, or like just show up as a special guest and maybe sing a song or play guitar for a song. You know, the audience loves that. Yeah, you know.
Do y'all do that often?
We do actually. Really? We've done it in the past. We've actually had Paul McCoy, who's the singer for 12 Stones. Do you know 12 Stones?
Yes.
Yeah. For those who don't know 12 Stones, I like to just refer the song by Evanescence. Like, wake me up. Yeah, he's the male vocal in that song, and he's the lead singer for 12 Stones. So, I mean, sorry, Paul McCoy, if that's how I tell everybody about you, but it works. So if you're listening to this, that's how people know you.
I love that song.
Yeah.
I made me think about the awful movie that came with it.
Yeah. But, yeah, we've had him come on stage, and actually he's a guest in one of our songs, Down to This, which is on the Invictus album, the second album. He does a guest vocal in that recording. But I think that's about it. We really don't have too many that come up on stage, but you know, they're more than welcome if they know the material. And I think just more on the local scene, it is somewhat independent in a sense. I think if you know the material, you know, if you're cool with the other bands, and I don't see why they would have a hard time for it. But in the local scene, you know, everybody they set up all their stuff on stage, and it's not scripted, but it's kind of like planned out. You know, this band's playing first, this band's playing second. So, you know, to have all the equipment up there, I think if you were a singer, it's a lot easier. But as a guitar player, like, the band will have to know, like, I'm setting up my guitar amp over here. I'm going to have my guitar, and I'm going to come in on the third song. I think if it's all planned out, it's going to work fine, but it doesn't really happen in the local scene as far as, like, the, you know, the music industry and the music scene. All those bands, they do that a lot. They do that a lot. I actually saw, I think, Surge. I'm not even gonna attempt to say his last name, but the singer for System of a Down, you know, he jumped up on stage with Tom Morello, you know, guitar player, and he did guest vocals. And that was pretty cool. And so yeah, they do that.
He's an odd fellow, I think.
yeah. His System of a Down, man, is just, you know,
his
awesome.
writing is something out of this
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this world.
It is. It is. Definitely.
You can listen to this song like over and over again. You still like, okay, what is he trying to say?
Yeah, I know. Grab a brush and put a little makeup. Like, what? You wanted to?
Like, I thought you didn't want me to put the walls up, and now I'm putting these walls up by the water. Like, it makes no sense, man.
Yeah. Just one of those musicians, man, that, he's good at what he does, and that's all it is to it.
So you said you've been in about 3 bands total?
3, yeah. Brackish Blue, Poltron Kinder, and First Fracture.
How often do you play with First Fracture?
Oh, yeah, we play every week.
Every week?
Yep, we practice every week. And we have shows maybe like once or twice in a month. We don't really push out too far, just because we're not at that age anymore, I don't think. And now with everything that we have going on, like, we all have full-time jobs, I have children. We all just have so many responsibilities, and we just appreciate the small amount of time that we can get together and practice, maybe about 2 or 3 hours out of a week, and then just play maybe like 1 or 2 shows out of a month. Okay. And it's not as much as we would like it to be, but we still appreciate that we can keep it going as at such a small scale.
Do y'all travel a lot, or
we don't? It's primarily we play in New Orleans.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know a Stevie Mulkey?
Steve Mulkey? No, I don't think so.
He plays in, I forget what band he is. He ain't gonna listen to it. His son probably listens to it. Charles, one of my best friends, his dad's been in a couple of different bands out of New Orleans.
Okay, what band?
That's a good question. I never, like, every time
I might know the band.
he plays live, like, I'm usually, like, I find out last minute and I'm like, oh, I can't go. Like, I've got my kids with me. I need a babysitter.
Yeah.
And so I always wanted to see him live, but I thought that might be because he's been in a few different bands.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to show you a picture of him.
Yeah. It might spark a memory.
Because he's kind of I think they do a lot of covers though. I don't think they write their own stuff.
Okay. I'm pretty heavily involved in the original local scene. Don't really know too many of the cover bands that are out there. Yeah, it's a different take on music. Yeah.
So y'all don't really play with covers bands too much?
No, I mean we have some covers that we know of. We recently learned a bunch of covers because we played for a bike night, and we played for like 2 hours. So we had like 20 songs. Which we do have about, like, if you look at our discography, like about 23 songs that we have, but we don't play every song that we write because different tunings and just different.
You have to have so many.
All kind of different things, And we kind of just narrowed it down to the 8 or the 10 that we do play. Either. Yeah.
Why did you play this? Oh, that's because that requires a lot of work, buddy.
And there's a lot of bands that do that. Like even big bands, like they write about 10 songs on an album, but when they play live, they may only play like maybe 2 or 3 from that album. They don't necessarily have to play every single song, and it just might be just more of a studio song, like a studio song where you can do like all this stuff. You can throw in like all these different instruments, all these different things, and to pull it off live, which can be done in today's modern society, but it's just
So, playing studio to live. How different is it? Like this, how different does the song appear to come off?
Yeah,
because I know like Shinedown, for instance, their studio stuff versus the live stuff is like night and day.
Yeah,
it's just something like it's not the same song.
I would agree with that when it comes to our music too. Like the studio stuff is I think it's more like just it's so compressed. It's just so. It's not as loud and not as just driven. It doesn't just hit as hard as when it comes to live, And
is there any times like you'll actually change like tunings for a song live? It's like let's try this, or like
we do actually.
Or like your vocals like, hey, let's take a half step back and see what that does.
Yeah. Well, we've experimented with plenty of tunings, but we found ourselves to be in a drop A.
Okay.
It's pretty low, but the reason why we're able to pull that off is I play a baritone guitar, which is just tuned just way down in the spectrum. If you were to take a standard guitar and tune it that low, the strings are real floppy and real loose, so you can't really drop it down that low. But to take the baritone guitar and actually try to tune it that high like a standard guitar, you end up popping strings. So it's set at a low tuning.
Correct.
And Forrest, the other guitarist, he plays a 7-string guitar, so he kind of has that extra strings to compensate for that low note. So we've stuck with a tuning, but we do have some songs that are tuned to a C sharp tuning, like a drop C sharp. But it's a different guitar, so we don't have to tune on stage. Okay. So when it comes to that portion of the set list, we can just put down the guitar and pick up the other one. And the singer might be saying something about check us out on Facebook or something that gives us time to switch instruments real quick. Yeah. So,
words of encouragement or something.
So we can take the time to do that.
So do y'all ever experiment with like new songs live, or you tend to do the studio first? If that makes sense. I don't know if I said that right. Like if y'all been talking about a song, it's like, hey, let's just do this. Do y'all ever like come out with it before y'all actually like? Cause I know there's jam sessions.
Yeah, definitely.
Practice on a song.
Correct. Yeah. We have done that. I wouldn't say with this album. I think this album was more. We actually wrote the songs, and as we were writing them, we did play the songs a few times live, but we were planning to go into the studio.
Okay.
So we were writing for the studio, but we had some shows that happened.
Do you find that better?
I think so. I do. I don't know if I can speak on the rest of the members, but I do, because I can like play it and keep I practice. When it comes to live, it might just be a little different,
Well, that's what I wonder, because I wonder if y'all try to like feed off what the audience is giving y'all, because it's hard to give like feedback when you're in a studio or jam.
Correct, yeah.
Versus someone listening, but that's also for the listener. It's kind of hard to be like, I love that, but the riff is like you can't expect them to go too far into the music.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I do feel like you're able to get their general opinion of it a lot better. Be like, okay, we might need to work on this a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that riff just didn't work. It sounded cool in the jam room, guys, but when I got on stage, I was like,
when you're doing, you might be like, okay, this feels really odd now.
It can go both ways, because we have a few studio songs too that we don't play live. And it's just primarily studio songs. We've had songs that came out to be successful, where we practiced them, played them live, and then went back to the jam room, kind of tweaked them a little bit, and then that really got them ready for the studio session.
Gotcha.
I was thinking of ready in studio, and that made me say radio for
some
reason.
Radio time.
Yeah.
I did find them. They're called Rushing. The band I was talking about earlier, Stevie.
Oh, Rushing? Okay.
Yeah, Rushing.
No.
Yeah, I think they're mainly covers. They play a lot of bars.
Okay. Yeah, no. Like I said, the scenes are...
Right. Do y'all play a lot of bars, too? Or do y'all play different... What do y'all play?
Typically... We really have the lockdown, I feel, on these three venues. One is the Twist of Lime. That is a bar room, but it's almost like a music scene too. Like they want it to be a music venue.
Really? Where's that at?
It's in Metairie.
Really?
Yeah, and it's a small venue, but the sound system is incredible. The stage lights are professional, and the mixing and like the soundboard that they have, which that's like a whole other side of music I really don't know about when it comes to mixing and things like that, but. It's very professional, but it is a bar room, and you get like 50 people in there, and it's a packed out, sold out house. That's how small the venue it is, but it really does have a lot of potential. The way it's more of like a rectangle shaped style, venue. That way, all the music is like focused in this one direction, and everybody can hear it clearly, and it's really nice, and there's a lot of bands that come through there, and it's just a really cool, small venue to really maybe test out some of those newer songs, or maybe like get the feel of, just some certain things. But then we also have, venues like we're playing at with Powerman 5000 this Friday, the 28th. It's Southport Hall. It's another venue. I think it's still considered Metairie. That's a big venue, big stage, big lights. That's a music venue. You walk in there, and it's this big open room. Right. There's like round tables people can sit at, and a big long bar that like wraps around, and a lot of open space, you know, like that the stage is like, you know, 5 feet high, you know, it's a big place. So we play there, and then we also play at the House of Blues too, which would probably be like the best place to play at, in my opinion. Like we love playing at House of Blues.
Yeah, that's where I saw Papa Roach at. It's more intimate, I feel, a little bit. Well, I haven't seen those other venues, but like Slipknot was at Champion Square.
Okay. Versus
House of Blues. House of Blues is a lot more intimate.
It is. But
it's also, I feel like I connected more with Papa Roach just because of how close I can actually see him. Because like I said, I was really close to Slipknot. But you still have that gate. And then you have like that big section and then the stage. Versus House of Blues, you're literally right there.
You're right there. Yeah, exactly. We recently played with Winery Dogs about a month or two ago. Has a drummer, Mike Portnoy, who's played in Dream Theater and also did an album with Avenged Sevenfold. So we opened up for his band. You know, we've played there a few times. Sleeping with Sirens, we played with them.
That's a different band too.
Sleeping with Sirens, more of that.
For a while, I thought really like when I first listened to them,
screamo style.
Well, yeah, they did that soft album too.
Okay, I really don't listen to them. I mean, they're a great talented band, and I enjoyed opening up for them. But you know, I don't. That's not my cup of tea. You know?
Yeah, for a while I thought the lead singer was a girl.
I know, right? Yeah.
Like he was hitting these high. I'm like,
oh my god,
okay,
yeah.
I'm just like, dang. I'm like, okay, cool, good on that sister. And then I'm like, no, that's a dude. I'm like,
I know, right?
That's not a dude.
I know, yeah.
And because like even the rock stuff, I'm like, that's a girl. Like you never once think it's a dude, and then you see it and you're like, oh, that's a dude.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, man, tell you what, whenever when the show was done and like we seen him backstage with his girlfriend or his wife, whatever the fuck that was, oh my god, dude, like
okay, be what you want.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this guy, you know, he's got it right. Whatever he's doing, he's doing it right, man. You know, but yeah. So that would be like the main 3 places that we play in New Orleans. You know, there's a few little places we played at in Baton Rouge. And
New Orleans is better though.
New Orleans is a little better just because of there's just the music scene down there.
Yeah, you got more, I feel like you have more people.
It's just more people. It's more of a rock scene. Whenever we did play in Baton Rouge, I mean, I don't know, the Varsity Theater I think would be like the best place to play at. We don't really play up there, so I don't know. You know.
Yeah, I think Varsity Theater is you're probably spot on with that. That's the only time I see like if a rock band does go to Baton Rouge.
Yeah,
I usually see them right there. And I think the last one I actually saw there. Like, not me personally, but, like, saw that they were playing there was, like, Puddle of Mud or Saving Abel, I think.
You know, and the sad thing is about that venue is we actually played there one time. And the reason why I say it's a sad thing is because our singer couldn't make it. Oh. He had something come up with work. And, like, it was booked, it was ready to go, and even our drummer couldn't make it.
So what did y'all do?
So yeah, and like a 2 or 1 day's like notice, you know, of 2 members dropping out, a singer and a drummer. We had a contact with our previous drummer. It's like, hey man, this is the emergency. Yeah. Like, you know, do you still know like some songs? And he was like, yeah, I got you. So we're somewhat lucky on that. Couldn't play any of the new material though. Right. Had to touch back on all the older stuff. And the other guitarist, Forrest, he ended up singing.
How did that turn out?
It was different. Because when you change your vocals, you change, the lead singer.
He could sing, though?
He can.
Okay.
He can, it
with enough drinks?
It wasn't First Fracture. That's the thing. And it wasn't us. You know, it was our music, but it was only a portion.
It felt yeah.
And I think that may have put a bad name in our reputation over there. Because since then, we just haven't been signed back to get back on. You should
knock on their door. Hey, listen, bro.
I'm waiting on this new album to come out. You know, this is gonna be like just a new leaf. You know, just changing things and say, you know, listen to this. You know, what do you think of this? You know,
give us a shot.
Give us another shot. You know, it was weird back then, but you know, let's do this. You know, something happened, but
man, you think because there's a lot of local bands. Like you'd be surprised how many there are. I'm surprised that y'all haven't actually all got together and tried doing a festival, to be honest, like in this state or so.
Like a big local.
Yeah, like I'm surprised. I've heard about that up in. I don't want to say Ohio because I feel like I'd say Ohio for everything when it comes to rock.
Yeah.
Some in the northern states, like there was something like that. Like
Hawthorne Heights was from Ohio.
And so I think like everyone. They just kind of got together and like, look, let's just do admission tickets, like $25, something like that.
That sounds cool, man. Because there's a lot of bands out there, you know. I think that could come together. I think a lot of bands, like, you know, would come out the woodworks pretty much.
Yeah.
Like bands like we don't even know about, but there was like this big
Well, dude.
local scene. Like how many people would just come
Not
out
just that, I
and
mean,
just
for New Orleans festivals, they're like, oh,
Yeah,
like, you know,
exactly.
they shut down everything for
Yeah.
that. Like, that's a good opportunity. If
Yeah.
it does happen, you're gonna have to plug divided people in that.
That's right, dude. Yeah, definitely not gonna cast
We
you
couldn't
guys
do this
out.
without divided people's
Yeah,
idea.
exactly. Yeah, definitely. And that would be a big hit too, man.
Yeah.
I think
man,
so.
I'd love to see it. Like, I
Yeah,
really would.
there's a big New Orleans local act. They're called Acadia.
Mhm.
You know, very talented guys. They also had like music videos and stuff like that.
You had
and Ventress is another one.
Ventress,
They're from Baton Rouge. Those guys are very talented.
I mean, even if it's not just, it could be country too. I mean, just something that
Okay.
local,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
local, you know. Some
Yeah,
people,
yeah. It doesn't
'cause-
necessarily have to be rock.
Yeah,
it can
'cause
be.
I love rock. Me personally, I do not like country. I really don't.
Yeah.
It boils my blood, and I don't understand why. It's just like I listen to it, like if I'm hearing it, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. But I feel like it would be a good opportunity if y'all did do like some sort of festival,
Where it's
just
just
for-
like local.
because you can have two
Cool.
different stages. I mean, because like let's be real, like where they do Voodoo Festivals, they use that maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
Like,
good
and they have
point.
like 3 different stages. You can easily
Yeah.
go over there. And
Well, maybe something needs to be said to somebody because
I don't know
there
where you start
is
that, but
a lot of talented people
It's
a lot of
New
talented
Orleans, like,
musicians that don't have either the connections, they
Mhm.
just don't have the opportunities, they just don't
Yeah.
even know where to go first.
what a
You
lot.
know, to
It's funny because I'm big on comedy too, and a lot of comedians say, "Oh, they don't come over here because New Orleans has so much going on." And we do.
Yeah.
We got Bourbon Street. You know, you got a
Yeah.
festival every other week and
Yeah.
stuff. But I was thinking
50-minute
about
drive. So.
Yeah, I was also thinking about that though. I'm like, man, like just getting locals together because people come to see locals
Yeah.
and to see like that. I think that would be a big thing for everybody, especially the band. I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
definitely.
I feel like y'all get a lot more. I'm blanking on what we would call
Yeah,
fans. There we go.
Yeah,
Wow.
new fans. Yeah.
I can't believe I blanked on that. But I think that's a. I don't know where to start for that.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, we'll keep that in mind. And if it ever happens, the divided people, man,
Oh,
you
man,
guys were there.
I'm like, I knew it.
Yeah, it'll be like thousands of people. It'd be a big hit.
So studio time. How often do y'all actually get studio time?
Oh man, that's a really good question. We, you know, because our 3 albums, they have about maybe 2 or 3 years in between, and the studio that you know. We usually just go to one. We've been going to Balance Studios, they're in Covington,
Okay.
and you know that's the one that we've just been going to. All of our albums have been done at Balance Studios.
When y'all do studio time, is it just y'all, or is it actually like producers in there?
David Troya,
Okay.
who's the mastermind behind all the equipment.
So y'all go there for him mainly, or do y'all actually go there for the studio?
Maybe for both.
Okay.
Maybe for both.
I've never been to a studio,
Yeah.
so that's what I
would
always
think
wondered that.
I would think for both because there's been a lot of successful music, a lot of good music, good quality music that came out of that studio, and also just David Troy.
'Cause you
He's
see,
been
like, in-
doing it for so long.
Yeah,
You know,
like
he
in
knows
movies
what
and
he's
stuff,
doing.
they always show a band going in the studio, and then they after they play, they jump behind, and like they're all looking. I'm like that doesn't seem right. Like something feels like I feel like there should be a person in that booth to be like, okay, you do this, like, you know, not just directing, but saying, hey, I couldn't really hear you on this time.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was odd. I'm like, I wonder if bands really do that though.
Well, it's more just independent with us, you know. Like I definitely like to be there through all the tracks. I like to be there through drums and through bass and, you know, through the vocals and stuff. You know, like some of the other members, they might just go there and just record their one part, and then they don't go back, which is completely cool. You know, they really don't have no reason to go back.
Right.
Like their part is done. You know, so their job is complete. But I like to be there throughout the whole thing.
Is
so
it different when you're doing studio? I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
No,
but,
like when playing.
yeah, because aren't you usually like playing by yourself? Like it's not like bands on.
Exactly. Yeah. So how we like to do it is we. Traditionally, this is how we like to record music is I'll pick up the guitar and I'll just play the song just to have a foundation or just to map out the song, and we record drums. So the drums are what's mic'd and recorded, but I'm just playing the guitar so the drummer knows where we're at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so,
so I'm not really recording. I'm just playing
so he can keep
so
track.
he can keep track and know where he's at. And then when that's done, we go back and we lay guitars, we lay bass. It may vary, you know.
Okay.
Typically
It's odd. I feel like that's odd. Like,
no,
well, not
I
odd,
like it.
Oh, you do?
I like recording music.
Okay.
Yeah, like because it just to kind of talk about studio and live, it's two different worlds.
Right, exactly. Because
It
you're all
really
playing
is.
together versus
There
studio.
are musicians out there that can perform phenomenally when it comes to playing live and being there in the real time and playing, and they do an amazing job. But then again, when they go into the studio and they're following a click track, you know, it's different.
Yeah.
You got the headphones on, you got all these these things going on, and it's different.
Did it take time for you to adjust to that, or
Actually, no. I'm a natural at it. Not to boost myself or anything like that, but just it comes easy for me. You know, it really does. I don't know why. I'm kind of. I like studio time, you know.
Okay.
I would like to do, like just studio stuff, you know.
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah.
I mean,
You know, like I've actually had the opportunity to just sit in. You know, I've been invited like just to a few sessions. It doesn't happen often, but it has happened in the past. I've recorded for like one band that said, "Hey, we need a bass track laid down." Our bass player had they lived in Pennsylvania or something, and I flew out there and just on the spot recorded. And that was cool,
wow.
and I liked it. Like hearing the song for the first time, and on bass guitar, like I'm just like not a master at it, but I know.
I mean, you've been playing this since you were
playing
like
it,
13.
yeah. So like I can jump in and do that, and then even being asked to do like some hip hop songs, I've been asked to do some
really?
studio time. Yeah, just come up with like some cool leads, and even some bass lines too. And it's fun, because you kind of sit down and you can see the music on the screen, visually, and you can hear it, you can map it out. If you don't like something, you can erase it and do something else. You know, and it's kind of cool how you can keep tweaking things. To where when it comes to live, like once you play it,
it's out there.
You better hope you play it right,
Right.
You can't go back like, hang on, guys, let's do that riff one more. Let's do that verse one more time. I'm gonna change. No, you can't do that. So, I don't know. I might be wishy-washy in a sense because I like playing live, but I really do like studio time too.
It's different.
It's just when it comes to studio time, you have to spend money. When playing live,
so
you make a little money.
You're like, I made a mistake, but you're like, damn, that's 3 minutes wasted. I can't get back.
Yeah, exactly. So I like to have this concept, and I like to share this with all musicians out there, and I think this is a good way to live by. Play music to make music. And like what I mean by that, and that's something I came up with, and that's something I tell my singer, like we play music because we play live. So when you play, you want to get paid a little something, for your talent, for your time, but you take that money, you don't spend it on drinks, or you don't go out and blow it, pocket it, keep it,
put it into the music.
Put it into the music. And that's something that when you look at all our material on the internet, the music videos, the studio time, everything that you see, majority of it came from, just playing music. So play music to make music.
Gotcha.
That's the words I like to live by. Yeah.
Do you help out with any young people you ever see coming up, or?
Young people? No, I don't think. Well, maybe in a way that I might not know about it. I might. I would think, or I think it would be cool if younger, artists or people getting into it may look at me as like inspiration.
Right.
So maybe in a sense, but not so direct. I can't say that I've ever.
Okay.
Like I don't really do lessons or nothing like that.
My issue with it, like when you're in school, if you tell your teacher, "I want to be a rock star," and it's like, go sit down and turn to page 32 and shut up.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're gonna learn this. Yeah. So it's like, but they don't ever encourage it.
Yeah.
And so that's why I always find, because I know a few people that like the school crushed their dreams and I just gave up on it. I'm like, damn.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the sad thing about that, because I mean, school and all is great, but like I said earlier, you don't really know who you are and what you want to do at that point in time until you find it.
Yeah.
And
once you find it,
once you find it, you have to hone it in.
Yep.
You can't just let it go away, because then that's time wasted and then it's gone. You got to capture it while it's there. So. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about that.
You said you got that album coming out. Is there a general tone for it? I mean, or is just
like a tone.
Yeah,
like,
kind of
like the music, like the,
well,
like the
yeah.
sound of the music.
Because what was that? Slipknot's chapter 5.
Yeah,
their whole general.
the Gray chapter. Or something
Yeah,
like that.
like he had like the writer Corey was talking about his tone for it, what it was really about. Is it? Do y'all write stuff like that per se? Like is
definitely.
This about a personal experience like this one album, or is it just kind of all around different types of stuff?
Gotcha, really good question. I like that question. Well, guitar wise or instrument wise, like guitarists, we're always looking for a particular tone. It never ends. I have two MXR pedals in the mail right now that's about to be sent to my house, so I'm always like adding different effects and different just more equipment to my arsenal, you know. And even the guitar that I've had for about a year now, my Paul Reed Smith baritone, because I had a Epiphone Les Paul baritone and I had just a standard Les Paul, two great guitars, but just the quality of the wood and like how they're made, every guitar is gonna be a little different. So even when it comes to the guitar, to the pedal boards, to the amp, I'm always trying to dial in a specific tone. And I feel like with this new album, the tone is more mature, especially because like I said, I've just been diving very deeply on the artists that I like. Just to name a few: Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains. If you listen to his solo stuff, it's very bluesy. It's just it's kind of obscure, like it's almost off time, but it just sounds good. But I don't necessarily play lead guitar like that. But I take some of those influences and kind of put it in the mix. Another guitarist that I look up to, Mark Tremonti. He was a guitar player for Creed. He actually has his own band called Tremonti. Of course, with a last name like that, why would you not have a band, with that name? And he also plays an Alter Bridge.
Yes.
And he's a very riff-driven.
Isn't Alter Bridge just everyone but the lead singer of Creed? I heard that. I'm not sure if that's true.
Oh man, I don't know. I feel like I need to know that, but I don't.
I heard that from somebody. I'm like,
that might be.
Like, oh, okay.
Like, remember, we're riding on the edge of the truth here. It might be, but
I'm afraid to look it up because I kind of want it to be true. I don't want that to be bursted for me.
We'll find out here, I'm sure. But his solos are very like scaly and very fast, and but then again, I don't really play my solos like that, but there's those influences. I have been complimented or been told that I play riffs and write riffs like Mike Mushok from Stain.
Okay.
Very heavy. I think he plays a baritone guitar too. He actually has a signature guitar. So he's another one, and I mean I could probably just go on and on about guitar players that I like, and that I look up to. Jim Root and Mick Thompson, both from Slipknot. They're both great guitarists. So I kind of one more I'm gonna name drop, John Five. He's more of like a creative guitarist. He has his own project called The Creatures, but he's known for playing Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie. But he's definitely more like very creative, very technical and challenging stuff. You don't necessarily have to be that well at playing an instrument like that. I'm certain like if Mark Tremonti was sitting right here, I'd probably be like, no, dude, we don't need to learn how to play like John Five. You can still write some badass music. But I take all of those guitarists that I look up to and I find inspiration, when listening to their music. I just kind of put it together and try to come up with my own sound, just taking those techniques, and just trying to make my own thing, and that definitely is reflecting off of the new album that's going to come out here with all the riffs that I play, and some of the solos. Not every song has a lead solo, but there are some solos in there that are just very mature, that just you can tell, you can listen to it, and I'm looking forward to it. So when it comes to the tone of things, it's always going to mature and get better. It's never just going to settle. It's never just going to be one tone. It's always going to be changing, So that was a really good question.
Thank you. I try sometimes.
Yeah.
Go ahead and drop your band name one more time because we're going to close this up.
Right on. Yeah, First Fracture. Look us up. And again, my name is Greg Dragon. lead guitarist for First Fracture. We have Facebook. Look us up. We have a bunch of YouTube content. If you have Spotify, we're on that. We have our music can be purchased online. So stay tuned. Keep an eye out for our new music. Follow our page, and definitely come and see us live. You know, that's what it's about nowadays. Just be out, get out, be a part of the scene. You know, even if it just takes walking in the door, sitting at the bar, and just sitting back and watching. Like, at least you're there. Be a part of it, and love local music, and let's support it.
All right, that sounds good.
Thank you.
The Divided People. Later.
Well, how did you like that? If you really did like it, give us a like on YouTube, podcast platforms, and Facebook. Don't be afraid to follow us if it's your first time listener. Also, if you would like to be a part of the podcast, you can always message us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're all on everything. We're just the Divided People. We do really any topic. We just want to talk to you first and get an idea. So, yeah, thank y'all for listening. Later, people.